Hello, and welcome back to the podcast where you are invited for lighthearted conversations about things that matter as you seek to live your most meaningful, beautiful, and joyful life. I'm your host, Dr. Edie Wadsworth, and I hope you enjoy your stay here at the House of Joy. Well, hi, everybody, and Happy New Year!
Welcome to 2026.
Welcome to 2026! I am so excited about the new year.
We are literally starting January 1st all together on this podcast.
Yes, we are.
Thursday, January 1st. That just feels right.
That feels right. That does feel right. And I will also say that we did, in fact, record this ahead of time. So at this very moment, I'm probably snuggling one of the grandbabies. You and Haddon are probably skiing at Big Sky. We're together in Big Sky.
Yeah, we are. We are pre-recording.
But we're here in spirit with you right now, celebrating the amazing new year.
We have all of the new year charisma.
Yes, we do.
To bring,
yes,
even though we aren't quite there yet.
Right.
But I'm excited. Maybe we'll have to listen back to this on our trip, like on the first of the year.
Maybe we will.
Because that's when it's coming out.
I'm so excited. Today we're talking about the only resolution that actually works. Now listen, I normally say they don't work at all, but I'm going to tell you one today.
We've got a secret
one that I think does work. So we're going to talk about the only one that actually works. And I think you are going to leave this episode so excited.
On fire
about your life, about the new year. I mean, why not? Because here's the way I actually feel. The new year gets me fired up. And
I feel like everyone feels like that a little bit.
I hope so. Let me just tell you that you have this. I think it was Mary Oliver who said this in a poem. You have this one wild, precious life. What are you going to do with it?
Today, right now.
This day, this week, this month, this year. And what would happen if you brought that energy into 2026? Well, we're going to talk about it. That's right.
That's the thing that we're going to change this year is that we're not just excited right now.
Right.
We're excited.
That's the thing.
3 months from now.
That's right. And we have sort of a way of thinking about it and a way of teaching it. If you've been around the podcast a while, you know that this is our thing. Teaching you how to show up to your life. Not just one time a year, not just on one big day, but teaching you how to show up consistently in a way that you love, that inspires you. Because
and if you don't naturally feel on fire during the new year, because we did talk about last time, like some people have dread. It's like a little misery. Surrounded by the new year. Yeah. This is going to change your mind about the new year.
Yes. Let us in. You can just borrow some of our belief and our spark, because we all go through phases of life where we just don't feel like we have ours.
That's
right.
Okay. Yeah.
I think the other thing that makes me love this time of year, y'all, is that my birthday is January 4th. And
you were literally created to love.
I was created to love the new year. And if you're brand new to the podcast, you also may not know this, but my dad was a crazy, charismatic character. And when my mom brought me home from the hospital, he hired a honky-tonk band to come and quote unquote welcome me home.
Welcome.
Can you imagine Granny and how enraged she was?
Well, I can just imagine
at a honky-tonk band.
It's like a fun story, but if you like really put yourself there and you're freshly just gave birth. And you're not wanting a honky-tonk band. No, that's actually the last thing you want. But I do really feel like some spunk. Like he really wanted to bring you into this world.
Yes.
Unlike any other way.
Unlike anyone else. And I do feel like it has given me just an absolute love and passion for this time of year. Dad, because he grew up in Minnesota and it's so cold there, and like this time of year, I think people are just always feeling like they're hibernating. Yeah. And so I don't think he loved this time of year. And I think it's starting to rub off. I'm like, no, I love this time of year. I love the short days. I love all the sparkly lights that I put in the house. I love, hunkering down and doing my knitting and going for cold walks and having plenty of time to journal. Like, I love this time of year.
I do think it's growing on me, actually, because I can remember, as a kid and like when you're kind of in college and stuff, like it is kind of like
it's January.
It's January. But I also feel like you are rubbing off on me because I kind of love the excuse to be inward
to just
and
hunker down a little bit.
Like, it is cold, but I kind of love the coziness. I will say, like, when it hits February, it's like a little bit, the cold of it all starts to wear off.
Yes.
But I also love this time of year, and I just love that it's like a worldwide fresh feeling.
Yeah. No, I agree. Feeling. I love it to my core. And I think that today will give you just a little bit of a fresh view of looking at your life a little differently, looking at the new year a little differently. So one of the things that the title of this podcast is The Only Resolution That Actually Works. And what I've discovered in my life is that when I used to live by like nebulous resolutions, quote unquote. I remember when I had an old blog and I would create these, you guys were laughing at them. I don't know. It was a couple of weeks ago. We found them on my old blog and I was with Emmy and the rest of the team and they were dying laughing because I had created these little collages that obviously I created them myself, but I would just put on there like random things. Now, I guess somewhere in my psyche, I thought I would do these things, but I can just remember making random long lists of things.
Doing what they call...
It was like a vision board.
Vision boarding.
Yeah, kind of like a vision board. But then what would happen is I would forget about the thing that I made by February and, kind of feel guilty and not
I haven't even thought about that.
Yeah, and like not have a good plan or whatever. So I was thinking about this, like if I could sum up what's like a one sentence summary for something that I resolved to do that really changed my life permanently. Okay. And I think it was when I decided to stop living in survival mode, to stop living by default. And I just decided that I'm going all in on creating my life on purpose. Because I remember struggling after I quit medicine. I remember struggling with like, okay, so now what's my purpose? Yeah. So now what defines me? Now who am I? Now that I'm not doing this thing that I was doing for a long time. And what I've learned over the years is that purpose isn't something external to you. It's the way you do everything. It's the way you show up to your marriage. It's the way you show up on January 1st to the new year. It's the way you show up it's the way I feel like it's the way I show up to my grandbabies. That sort of purpose and meaning that make your life feel so full and amazing. You're bringing that.
Right.
And so then I realized like, oh, I just haven't been bringing that to my own life. Yes. Like the spark, the passion, the purpose, like things feel purposeful when you do them on purpose. Mm-hmm. Things feel meaningful when you inject meaning
into them,
into what you're doing. And then it doesn't become like you're chasing something like I need to run a marathon to make my life feel purposeful, or I need to switch jobs necessarily to make my life feel that way. I can bring that in every single part of my life because I want to experience a purposeful, joyful, colorful life. Not because if I accomplish something random on, a vision board that I made, that is going to automatically infuse my life with purpose. It kind of reminds me of when we 2 years ago, did the podcast. Like one of our episodes was why you need to learn to knit. I think was like the hook of it. Okay.
And I can't remember exactly like what.
We'll link it in the show notes if you haven't listened to it.
But kind of the premise of it was, knitting isn't necessarily going to get you, a thing like knitting isn't going to get you probably where you want to go. Yeah. But the practice of doing things that you can bring joy, that you can bring passion to, right, really help you have this mindset of like enjoying your life and like having purpose.
Well, and for instance, by the way, your sweater is looking amazing that you're working on. You and Ellie both have new sweater patterns that you're working on. And Ellie showed us her amazing pattern.
Yes.
She's knitting this Christmas sweater that's so cute. It's red. So first of all, just the color of it's cute. And then she's knitted these little white sardines.
Yes.
You know, into these 3 little fish on the front of it. I am not kidding you.
Cute.
It's so adorable. And how passionate is she about her project?
100%. And you become passionate about those things because you're proud, and they seem little. It's like your goals or the things that you have as desires don't have to be like these life-changing
That's right.
things, because you're the one who brings the passion to it.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of that, like little hobbies and stuff. Those things are important because you decide how you show yourself through those.
And so many times I've found in my own life, so when I started teaching women how to do 90-day goals and how to show up to their life, I think a lot of people would say, well, I'm just not somebody who's like really into goals.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, well, you haven't heard the way I talk about goals.
Yes.
So a lot of the goals that I've set and that I teach women to work on are things that are going to bring you joy. So knitting a sweater was one of my 90-day goals.
Yes.
And learning how to wake surf. And like, what are the things that are important to you that make you come alive, that help you connect with yourself, that help you connect to your energy, to your desire, that help you connect to other people? And how can you have more of that in 2026?
Yes.
So if you look back on your year and you think, oh, it was just, you know, it was filled with a lot of hard things, or there were transitions, or I wasn't in the best health, or it wasn't my best year, or it wasn't whatever. I think, first of all, you can look back with compassion on that, and you can even rewrite the story of last year. You can decide that that is exactly the year that was going to set you up to be in the right mindset and the right emotional state for this year. Because why not?
Why not?
Why not just decide that everything in your life is preparing you
purpose,
for, has a purpose and is preparing you and is part of God's plan for growing you. So I definitely, if I were you, would look back and find the meaning and the purpose in that. And then just decide, like, this is my year. This is the year where I show up and I create things on purpose. And here's what I'm passionate about. And here's what I want to learn more about, you know, and here's what I want to pursue. And here's what I'm bringing my heart and soul to. And to me, it just feels so hopeful and inspiring. And because I've had people all the time say, like, oh, I love watching you live your life. I'm so inspired by your life. But if they knew my actual life, I don't even necessarily think they would feel that way, because I live a very simple daily life.
Yes.
Right. I mean, you can attest to this.
Definitely. Like, I think you have a way of speaking about your life and
looking at my life.
at it that does make you feel like you have something
you must
more
think,
special
oh,
going
she's got
on.
something so crazy or special going on.
Yes.
Well, Emmy comes here to visit and she's like, oh, you're just
It's
basically taking
normal
Tom to
and,
school.
like,
You're doing your work. You're getting your workout in. You're making your, you know, morning cortisol drink.
Yeah.
It's just
making
normal
dinner.
life.
And it's just
making
normal.
dinner. But how you show up to it, how you decide to see it, how you decide to find the miracle and the magic in it.
And I think that
is the point.
What can be a little bit not as rewarding to focus just on the goals is, like, your life is made up of every day.
You spend most of it just in your everyday life,
doing
normal things,
and maybe practicing. And, you know, if you do have those big goals, it does kind of change it can change your day to day. But the things you remember about last year are not always going to be the huge, big moments. And they shouldn't always be, because...
No, and when I look back at my camera roll, because I do that every year to kind of review my year, and when I look back at my camera roll, it's always the littlest things, or the small little moments, or the way the little toddler hand is puffy on the top and looks like a little sausage fingers, or, you know, it always is the little things.
Yeah. And
I think that when we realize that the little things are the big things, and when we realize that if our life isn't feeling the way that I'm describing, that's on us. we've grown old. We've grown calloused. We've grown entitled. And we haven't been willing to see the things that are there, right there in front of us every single day, that give life that joy and spark and meaning and purpose. And you can decide right now today that you're not going to do that anymore, that you are going to live awake to your life, awake to the magic of it, because I promise you, when you decide to do that, what you'll start to find is it's everywhere.
Yeah. It's in all the little moments.
Yeah. I think of, we had the boys for Grammy Camp a couple weekends ago, and oh my gosh, first of all, you realize why you have your babies in your 20s and 30s, because Gramps and I, those boys were running circles around us. Yes, they don't get tired. They're just like here for it all. But what I noticed about it, because I had all of these little fun things planned, and now let's do this. What I realized is that, and I've said this before, but I think it bears repeating. You can say to yourself something like, we're keeping our grandbabies for the weekend. Mm-hmm. Or you can say to yourself, I'm hosting Grammy Camp Christmas edition, and it's going to be epic.
Yeah.
And then I get to experience the magic of that.
And the cool thing that happens is you go into it with a different energy, and everyone who is a part of it feels it. And that is the magic of how you can do everything.
Yes.
It is really so true.
And it's kind of contagious to live your life like that, because, the main point that comes to me is, why not? Mm-hmm. You can live your whole life focused on the hard things, the problems, the things that aren't going right. And trust me, I've plenty of those.
Yeah.
Or you can decide on purpose with intention, no, I was created for joy. I was created as God's beloved daughter for such a time as this, with this particular set of circumstances. And I can decide on purpose to show up looking for the magic in that, because I think when I look for it, I find it. Or I can show up closed off and deciding, well, this is just going to be another year like every year before. And guess what? That's exactly what you'll have. Another year just like the year before.
It reminds me of, and I've definitely talked about this before, but of my friends and the group of friends I have. And we have a Christmas party coming up. And the way that we just even all make that such a big deal.
Such a big deal. And so special.
And just so celebratory. And we really do think back and talk about how magical everything we do together is.
Yes.
And because we talk about it so much.
Yeah.
And
it's like you anchor in the joy of the moment. Yeah.
And we make looking back at the memories we've made so magical, because every time we look back at them, we're like, that was the best trip ever. Or this is going to be and we'll go into this Christmas party.
This is going to be my favorite event of the season.
Goes into things like that.
Yeah.
And it does really change. Not everything is guaranteed to feel that way. And the energy that you bring to those things is what makes it magical. And I see that play out in my real life, and in other ways you can see when you don't bring that energy.
When you don't do that. And obviously there are times when all of us don't do that, of course. But I just enjoy my life so much more. And I know that other people enjoy it so much more when I'm living in that way of just receiving, being willing to be delighted by life, being willing to be surprised by the smallest little blessings, being willing to see the miracle in the everyday thing. I think it's a skill. And I think maybe most people think about me, well, that's just the way you see it. No, I've worked really hard to see it that way.
I think it just makes it too, because of the way we live, it takes the pressure off of the new year a little bit. And you can kind of make this magic all year, which is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
But it also is such a beautiful way to think about it too, because if you have been in a season where you've been a little slower and you haven't been living like this. Like there's always
right now today. You can shift this today. Right.
And
I highly encourage everybody to do that. Like even if take out a journal and just sit down and ask yourself, maybe for just 5 minutes, to think about your life, to look around and to find things that make you feel that way, to find things that remind you of the miracle, to find things that help you stop living by default, that have you just surviving, just focused on what's wrong, just focused on problems, and just spend 5 minutes. And I promise you that during that session, because I've done this many times, you will start to feel this inner joy, excitement, peace, inspiration, abundance in your own life. And what I remind myself of, because I'll tell myself oh, it's so easy for me to get into a mode like that. I love doing that when I'm traveling. So I'm oh, I'll have just an hour to just sit there and dream and journal and all of that. But truly, that's available to us at any time that we decide to live our lives in that kind of way. And what if you just decided that this is the year that I'm going to do that? I'm going to stop this living by default. I'm going to wake up and I'm going to ask myself every day, where's the miracle? Where's the magic? It's there. I promise you, for all of us. And if that were the lens that you took into the new year, how would that change your relationships? How would that change the way you show up to work? How would that change your health? Because here's what I see in my women that do this in Life Mentoring School. They come in and they're basically you know what? I'm just going to pay attention to my life. I'm not setting any crazy goals. I'm just going to fill out my planner every day. What they will tell us after a month, after 8 weeks, after 12 weeks is I don't even recognize myself anymore.
Yeah. And just for those of you listening, to give you some perspective, if you are in midlife and you have kids and, it's probably a stage where it feels harder to do this maybe.
Yeah.
Just the ripple effect that this has had in our family. I just think about the way that now we all, because really you have set the tone. I feel like you set the tone for so many things, and you choose to be this way whether we are or not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not dependent on us whatsoever if you're gonna experience the magic of these moments.
Yeah.
It just in turn has such a ripple effect. And then I think about too, just even people in my life who have experienced that ripple effect even affect them.
Yes.
And I think it's just worth doing for yourself, because you just don't know how you're affecting, how much and how positively you're affecting your family. And if this is something you want from your family members, do it yourself, because it will have that effect. Because I just think about the way that we all think about this trip that we do at the beginning of every year.
Yeah.
Really, the way we think about it is because you guys set the tone of how it is every year. And now all of us go into it. We all say the same thing. And, best trip of the year. We always look forward to it. It always feels magical. It always feels that way. And I do think it's because you and Dad have decided to make it feel that way. Yep. And then it just ripples to everyone. Yep. And so now we all go into it thinking that it's going to be that way.
Right.
So
and then that gets to be our experience of it.
It can just have such a effect on the people around you.
Yeah.
And it's so worth having everyone have that energy.
Yes.
Because it does.
And it doesn't mean, by the way, that there's plenty of things that will go wrong. We'll have plenty of tears. We'll have so many laughs. It'll be a very human experience. But
annoyances,
there'll be annoyances. It'll be a normal family thing. But also, can you make room for, can you decide right now that you're also going to have the other side of it?
And I think that's kind of the point too. That happens every year. But the thing when it comes around to this time that we remember from those things
all we remember
are always just the magic points, you know,
Yeah.
like there always have been those, like, honestly, like you think about the ski trip, like we get tired and we're sore and you
somebody
become
falls
snappy
or somebody gets
and you're
lost,
you know,
or,
like there's always that.
Yeah.
But we never really remember those in that way.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And so I guess my heartfelt desire for you is that you resolve now that that's the kind of year you're going to have, that you're not going to miss the magic, that you're going to have a normal human life just like all of us, but you're also going to make room for the joy and the peace and the fun and the inspiration and the just the amazing miracle that it is to all be here together. So
it's so wonderful.
I hope everybody
love this season.
I do too. And I hope you all have a wonderful new year. I am so excited about it. By the way, we are, I don't know when this comes out. Are we
a week away
from Made for More? You guys, it's not too late. If you want to know exactly how I do this, exactly how I create it, we are hosting our biggest workshop of the year. I cannot even believe the amazing women we have in there already. This is the event not to miss for the price of a Starbucks. For the price of a Starbucks, you can come join us for 3 magical days together of dreaming and visioning what this next year and the ripple effect that this next year will have on your whole entire life when you decide to do this on purpose. So we would love to have you in Made for More.
Amazing.
We'll put the link in the chat.
Yes.
And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and a wonderful 2026.
Yes, we love you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.